Hi everyone, and welcome to the third episode of Shine a Light International Women's Day series. I'm Sharice Hilton, Design and Implementation Executive, and I'm delighted to be joined by Sam Friday. Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, really good, thank you. Thank you for joining us today. So, for those that don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
My name is Sam. I work in the ETO D2C online team. Basically, I look after MX devices on Samsung.com across Europe. It's the easy way of explaining it.
Nice. And also, you missed out the Unpacked. Sam was part of the Unpacked unveiling for the S22. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So I think about 2 weeks before I went to New York to film Unpacked, I got an email through saying, "Hi, do you want to be in the next Unpacked event?" And I said, Sure, why not? I said, sure, very quickly, because otherwise I would have got too scared and I would have just said, no, this is too scary for me.
That's amazing.
But yeah, I spent, I think, 5 days out in New York, 3 full days filming, and you've seen the final product.
It's amazing.
Thank you, thanks.
So, you're in the ETO team. How did you get into your role and what was that journey like for you?
I actually took a really wibbly-wobbly path to get to where I am. So at university, I studied graphic design. So I did an arts degree. Didn't really enjoy it. Wasn't that fun. Decided I didn't want to do graphic design. So straight out of university, I went and taught English in Japan.
Amazing.
Okay. So I was there for 2.5 years.
Wow.
And then realised I don't like this anymore. So came back to the UK and I ended up working for a mobile distributor, Tech Data. That was my first real job, as I like to explain it. And from there, I then, through my contacts working with Amazon at Tech Data, I ended up moving to Amazon. And then the person who helped me get a job at Amazon moved to Samsung, got in touch and said, "Hey Sam, do you want a job at Samsung?" And I said, "Sure, why not?" And now I'm here. And he's moved to Google, so.
You're staying here. Amazing. I can't believe that you taught in Japan for 2 years. How did that come about?
I think I'd always been into painting portraits, and as part of one of my A-level courses, I had to paint a portrait of someone outside of my culture. So started listening to some Japanese music, found a picture of an interesting Japanese person, and it snowballed from there to I'm just going to move there.
That's amazing. Whereabouts did you stay? What was your favourite place to go to?
So in my second year, I lived in Yokohama, which is about 30 minutes from Tokyo. It's just insane. It's vibrant. There's a huge range of people there. There's a really good mix of foreigners and Japanese people there. And my favourite part was one of my schools, in order to get there, I had to walk through the Nissan showroom. So I got to see all of the cars on display. So cool.
That's amazing. So the theme of International Women's Day is Break the Bias. What would you say bias means to you, and what is your earliest memory of experiencing bias?
I think for me, bias is unreasonable unfairness in situations where it doesn't make any sense. I think for me, being an introverted, mixed race woman in the tech industry, in sales no less, I struggled. From my very first job, I got into telesales and I was told, "Oh, don't worry, you'll be absolutely fine." Because I was really nervous. They said, "Don't worry, you'll be absolutely fine. You're a girl, just put on a sexy voice. That will sell things." And I remember thinking, "Oh, okay, that makes things easier." And then stopping and thinking, wait, so it's not about my ability to sell, it's the fact that I have a woman's voice? Okay.
And the sexy tone is, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. I have my own thoughts about that, but I will not mention it. How did you navigate that experience? Obviously, that was your first role, right? How did you navigate that being your first job?
I was really nervous. Like I said, I'm an introvert, so I was way more shy than I am now. I didn't want to lose my job. I didn't want to rock the boat. I didn't know how to say something. I just thought, that's the world we live in. All right, I'll just try that. I very quickly realised that's not me. I'm just going to talk as if I'm me and then sell things through my ability to sell rather than because of the fact that I'm a woman. But I think that was my first experience of thinking, that's not the way we do business. That's not how things should work. But that experience taught me a lot. I think I haven't had many female role models throughout my career. I haven't seen many women in senior positions, let alone any Black women in senior positions that I can look up to. I think my very first experience of having a female role model was in my first job, where I experienced a lot of gender bias. There was a female credit director, and she was so tough. She would walk into meetings back when we could walk into meetings, and everyone would immediately think, oh, she's here. Okay, right, got to pay attention. She would sit down, she'd come in, she'd say her piece, and everyone would nod and listen and say, yes, okay, she knows what she's talking about. And I thought, that's when I thought, I want that respect. I want people to look past my gender. I want people to look past my colour and think, wow, she knows what she's doing.
It's interesting that you've brought those two intersections in. So you've got the race, being a mixed race woman, and obviously the gender side to it as well. What do you think we could do collectively as women, but also from a company level, to embrace that level of diversity and inclusion?
I think we just need to talk about it. I think that's why things like this are so important, actually having those frank and honest and open conversations. I think there are a lot of white men who will shy away from conversations because they think, maybe they think, oh, well, I'm a white man, it's nothing really to do with me, I don't know what you're going through and I can't support you. But the simple fact of listening, if I say, I've experienced this thing today, I don't know how to deal with it, just someone saying, that sucks, and accepting that, yeah, you know what, that does suck. Someone spoke over you in a meeting, that's not right. Let me know what I can do. How can I support you? That openness and that willing to learn from all of our colleagues, I think, is the most important thing at every level. Not just, your own little team. It can start there, but it has to grow. It has to be our VP leadership. It has to be our Korean leadership in Suwon. It has to come from right at the very top so that it goes all the way through and becomes an integral part of the company culture.
So you're part of Women at Samsung as well.
Yep.
How does that feed into this whole notion of shining a light on gender equality?
So for me, it provides a space for women to come together and talk about these microaggressions. I know I've definitely experienced it. I know there's probably a lot of other women who've experienced things and thought, oh, I'll let that comment slide, or, oh, he spoke over me in a meeting again. I don't want to say anything today, I'll just let it slide. It all builds up and it builds up, and we didn't have that community to come together and share those issues. We didn't have a place to validate those issues and say, yes, this is an issue. So for me, Women at Samsung is a community for us to share and support each other, and not just women, male allies as well.
Yeah.
And I think it's also really important to focus on our 3 pillars that we have at Women at Samsung. Attract, so we need to bring in more women from outside of Samsung. We need to start attracting women and young girls at a younger age as well. We need to show them that the tech industry isn't specifically designed for white men. You can do whatever you want to do. If you want to be in tech, you want to be in sales, go for it. Like, it should be down to your abilities. And then the second pillar is develop. So once the women are here, we need to show them that Samsung is a place where they can grow, where the glass ceiling doesn't exist, where they have female role models or role models that look like them or think like them, and show them that if you want to be a VP, sure, because so-and-so is a VP of sales, you can do it too. And then finally, retention. So retention. So we want to keep the women there, right? We need women to stay. If we constantly have a revolving door of women leaving, that's all that women are going to see. Samsung is not a place for us to stay. It's a landing spot for us to move on to something different. And we need to keep that talent in the business.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about that cyclical feedback loop, right? We want to get women in, but we want to keep them as well and allow them to grow. I love that. Thank you for sharing that with us today.
That's okay.
You mentioned that you've experienced challenges as a Black woman. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I think it has definitely fed into the challenges that I've had. I think they've been kind of 50-50 split between me being a woman in the tech industry and me being specifically a mixed race woman in the industry. But I think, I mean, it's never stopped me before. If anything, it just makes me more determined. And I think that a lot of that has come from my mum. So she's from Bermuda, and she's probably one of the strongest women I've ever met. She's so well educated. She has 2 degrees. Amazing. She has a teaching qualification, and she has a PhD. So she's technically a doctor.
Amazing.
And she's just so inspirational. And she did it because she wanted to. It wasn't that she felt she had to. It's because she wanted to. And she's always told us that she'll be proud of us if, me and my siblings, she'll be proud of us if we do what we want and we're happy with what we're doing. And I think that's just translated through into everything that I do. And I always think, like, whenever I'm making a decision on being a part of something like Unpacked, I think, will this make my mum proud? Yeah, because I'm standing up. And I think that's why Unpacked was such a big thing to me as well. I didn't do it because I wanted to be on camera or I wanted to be a celebrity or something. I did it because I wanted to show a different face to the world in respect to Samsung. I wanted to show that Samsung is not what you think it is. Samsung is any of us. It's any of you. If you want to join Samsung, then you can, because there's someone that looks like you there. You can have role models there.
Representation matters, right?
Yeah.
It's so important. Thank you for sharing that with me today.
That's okay.
We're going to finish up with a few quick fire questions. So the first one is, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Be proud. Be proud of who you are, no matter what your skin color, your gender. Be proud of who you are and what you do. Your actions should define you, not what texture your hair is or what color your skin is.
Amazing. What advice would you give to any women or young girls looking to get into tech?
Just do it.
Just do it.
Seriously, just do it. If you want to get into tech, just do it. And don't worry about following a specific path. Yeah. I did an art degree, taught English in Japan, and then eventually somehow ended up here. I don't even know how I did that, so.
Amazing. And I think you've just answered it, but I'll still ask it. In 3 words, what does gender equality mean to you?
Future, freedom, and I'm trying to think of another F.
You've got the alliteration going up. Future, freedom.
Fulfillment.
Love that. Yeah. Future, freedom, fulfillment. Love that. Thank you so much, Sam, for joining us in this episode of Shine a Light International Women's Month. If you enjoyed this episode, you can check out more coming out this month.